Hi Chris, how are you?
Hi Rod, yes, I'm well. Here we are on the 21st of December, but actually it's not quite the 21st of December. We record this one a little early as that will be family time for me as I will be away, and so we're doing it a little bit early, but we thought we'd do things of the year. So it's probably not worth us talking about the weather because who knows what the weather might be on the 21st. We might have snow, rain or sunshine.
Yeah, and given that when this morning when we recorded the weather was nice, now it's not.
Yeah, this is the joy of the UK. We get all the seasons, sometimes in one day.
Yeah, but let's anticipate 21st probably not going to be great, but you never know. Maybe if you go out doing your Christmas shopping, the show we have for you is going to help though, no?
Yeah, hopefully. So we're going to do things of the year, largely Apple focused, which is probably where we started out. We might want to revise this next year as we drift a little away from Apple, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's fair. We've both certainly bought devices that aren't entirely Apple. If we'd done this show 15 years ago, we'd be talking about Apple airports and all that kind of stuff as well that our networks were based on, and things have changed quite a lot since then.
Do you know what? Last week I saw an Airport Extreme, like one of the tall, thin, elongated square ones. I hadn't seen one of those ever before in the wild, and there you go. Now it's nostalgia.
There you go. Let's dive straight in and do this. This doesn't need to be a very long show, but I think it's an important one to do, where we do our sort of products and things that have impressed us over the course of the year. This is our list. It's nobody else's list. We'll try and keep it fairly practical and not let the arguing go too far. We've got a bunch of categories. We'll talk about what won the category last year, so we know what that is. We'll have a winner and we'll have a runner-up. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Okay, so diving straight in with our Apple product of the year, which last year was the Mac Mini, which both you and I bought, I think.
We do, and I am on it as we speak right now. I use it quite a lot for podcasting, bit of downloading, bit of server in the house, serving up videos and what have you. And what a device, and I stand by last year's decision. I think that was the right call because it was super affordable for most people, and it could get very expensive if you wanted to spec it up.
Yeah, I go with all that, except I pretty much just use mine for podcasting. I have other rubbisher machines that I use for serving things around the house because I don't want the processor impacted while we're podcasting should some random process start somewhere, so I'm a bit more careful with it, but that's okay. My house is not your house, but now with all your fancy 2.5 gig Ethernet networking, everything will be cool, I'm sure.
Yeah, and that was the first bit of me getting quicker networking stuff, was getting this Mac with a 10 gig Ethernet card in it. Anyway, that's last year's thing of the year. Should we go through the shortlist that we've got for this year?
So our shortlist this year: the iPhone 17, the iPhone 17 Pro, the M5 MacBook Pro, the M4 MacBook Air, and the iPhone 16e. So that's most of the things. I noticed there's no iPads in there, which once upon a time you would have absolutely put something in.
This year's iPad, I'm sure it's lovely, but it's far too this is the iPad Pro, far too expensive and not enough new, and a very dull year for the iPad lineup in general. Well, other than the software, very dull year for iPad hardware.
Yeah, I think that's fair. As I look across these categories, I immediately want to discount the iPhone 16e though. I think it's a good product, but in light of what we've had with the 17 phones, unless you're really sort of trying to get down to a particular price point, I don't think there's enough in it to be a product of the year.
I would concur. I think it's a good product. It's certainly good for corporations because this is the phone they should be buying their staff instead of the old SE that loads of people had. So no, I'd agree with you there.
You'd agree with that. So the iPhone 16e is gone. I would similarly, actually, and I know this is going to be controversial, remove the iPhone 17 Pro because I think for most people, as we talked about not that long ago, the iPhone 17 itself is actually the complete product.
This is probably my most favourite tech product of the year.
That's fine, but I think as discussed, for most people, the cameras are good enough, the processor is good enough, it's USB-C, it's got the dynamic island, it's got an OLED screen that refreshes at a sensible rate, it's got all the camera stuff from the last couple of years. I don't think it's a compromised product in any way, so I think what that's got going for it, Chris, is it's orange.
That's exactly what I was going to say, but none of those things you've listed is cosmic orange, and I'm holding my phone up. Cosmic orange, look at that, it's beautiful. No, look, actually, as much as I love the iPhone 17 Pro, I was name checking myself there. I do actually think the 17 is the better phone for the majority of people. The Pro is not worth it for the colour and one extra lens. So I do think the 17 is the right one. So I'm comfortable with that. We've narrowed it down to an iPhone 17 and some MacBooks.
Yeah, so let's do the same with the MacBooks. The M4 MacBook Air is an absolutely terrific computer. I believe you have one.
I was just looking around me. It's not with me, but I do have one in Midnight. Beautiful machine, very fast, very capable. I know it's not got the screen of the Pros, but what a device. Fantastic. That device is the device for the masses. Would recommend.
I agree, and I think in any other year, I would be saying this is absolute. And I'm up for debate on this. I think if they'd bunged an M5 in this year, there'd be no hesitation. This would be my product of the year without even blinking.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think the one thing just to note on the M4 though is they did hit the good price point, didn't they? They've got it under £1,000, just under £1,000, and you're buying the latest tech rather than getting the previous generation model. That is one thing they did achieve with it.
Yeah, I think it's strong colours. I think it's a great laptop. I think it should be the default. I mean, it's interesting in a year where the rumour is next year they're going to have a new uber low cost MacBook. Maybe just MacBook. We don't know the name of that device yet. But I think this is a terrific device. I think based on the M4 and my Mac Mini, that it's a great processor. I haven't tried an M5 out yet, which kind of... So we'll pause that there and we'll move on to the next side of this, which is the MacBook Pro, which at the moment is just the base MacBook Pro that comes with an M5. And this has also become quite a compelling device, I think.
Yeah, I think it has. It's the only laptop with the... it's the only Mac with an M5 chip in, I think. This is a great laptop. Most people, like if you were buying a device today and you had a few extra quid, you'd probably get this because it's got next year's chip in it, in essence, a little bit early. It's probably going to last a bit longer. It's going to have a great screen. It's got great peripherals. It's a little bit heavier. That's what put me off it. It's a little bit heavier, but the more I'm using my Mac, the more I think I'd be getting a Pro next time out.
Yeah, I mean, I like my Pro laptops. My last 5 or 6 laptops have all been Pros. It's been a long time since I had an Air. So my interest is piqued by this. I think if I'm going to, you've said all the positives about it. Great screen, great ports, great battery life, significantly faster than the M4 that came before it, certainly in all the benchmarks and things like that. I think it's a great chip. My hesitation, if I'm trying to be balanced, is that what people are really waiting for, though, is the mid-spec chip, the Pro Max Ultra. That's the way they go, yeah. They're waiting for the Pro because that's what people who buy Pro laptops actually want. So this is your corporate desktop. The corporate buyer is going to buy this. I think it's a great device. But I think that price is kind of right in the middle of where people want to be. People want a really good laptop. The Air is good enough. People who actually want power in their MacBook Pros want the next chip, if not the next 2 chips up. So it's kind of an in-the-middle device, despite it being a terrific machine.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. I think what we're doing is, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think we're talking ourselves into the iPhone 17 becoming our product of the year because the M4 Air is great. The M5 MacBook Pro is also great, but it is quite expensive. It's £600 more here in the UK. And you're right, the Pros would want the next chip. So that would be my recommendation. It's your call. I'm
100% with you. I think the iPhone 17 is our winner this year, and I think the M4 MacBook Air is our runner-up.
Yeah, and interesting, neither of us have got an iPhone 17.
No, that is true, but I think everything we've heard about it, everything we've read about it, our experience of having lots and lots of iPhones and things in the past is leading to that's the sensible thing to do. Didn't we pick the iPhone 16 last year as well? No, we didn't pick it last year. It was the Mac Mini, but certainly one of our products. It was a real close fight, wasn't it? So I think this year the iPhone 17 deserves it.
Yep, agreed.
Fair enough. Next category. This could be a controversial category because, let's face it, we've kind of had to scrape around a little bit to find some appropriate things. So, category this year for Mac App of the Year. Last year, Maccy, which is a clipboard manager, won. This year we have Ice, which is a menu bar app. The boringNotch, which makes sense if you've got a notch in your computer. It sort of enables a few more things than that. Aerospace, which is a tiling window manager. Fastmail, which they released a desktop app this year. Notion, the well-known note-taking and AI tool. We've sort of grouped everything together: Gemini, desktop, Warp, all those kinds of things into one thing. We'll go with the ChatGPT desktop as the exemplar of that. And you've put in at the last minute Festivitas.
I never know how to pronounce that app. I actually do run Festivitas on my MacBook. I don't usually have it on my podcast machine because I'm worried it's something else running while I'm trying to podcast. And it's an app that basically lets you put lights on your Mac, and it's written by an independent app developer. I just think he's done a cool job, and this year he made it snow. It's like £5 or something to buy it. I couldn't find last year's license key, so I just bought it again because I thought I'd support the guy. And this year he did do an iPhone app. I've not used the iPhone app, but I just think it's quite cool on your Mac for the month of December.
I think it's very good. I was listening to Jason Snell talk about this app where you can now automatically schedule a snow blizzard every so often if that's what you want to do with it. I'm going to discount it though, Chris, straight away because it's a 1 month end of the year. It's going to do your device and then no more than that app.
That's fair. I put it in there because I just think it's a bit of whimsy.
I like a bit of whimsy, and I'm discounting it as winner. I'm not discounting it as runner-up, just to be absolutely clear with that. But I do think it's a bit of a novelty. However, as I look at these apps, there's very few truly first-class citizen Mac apps anymore, and this is one. So that's why I don't want to entirely discount it.
Yeah, that's fair. I think a lot of apps are written in platform software tools, and so they're not necessarily native. And we haven't got a huge amount of really big productivity apps. I guess Notion maybe is a really big productivity app.
Yeah, I think as we're talking about sort of cross-platform tools, let's just do Fastmail and Notion then. So Fastmail is an app that's an Electron app that you're going to be able to run on your Windows machine, your Linux machine, or your Mac. So you get a consistent experience across them all, but it's not perfect for any of them. It's a terrific app. It does what it does really well. It connects to the Fastmail service. You get a first-class desktop experience. You've got all that kind of stuff. But it's not a first-party Mac app. So my inclination, much as I think I love the service, is that Fastmail, can't really go forward.
Yeah, I feel you're right. We do want. I think we should honour people doing first-class Mac apps.
I agree. And similarly, Notion, which I use every single day, is also an Electron app that you'll get the same experience in Windows or Mac. And it's a good experience. I don't like all the shoving in your face, the ChatGPT and LLM enabled stuff. However, as a collaborative note-taking app for a team, it is unbeatable. But it's not a first-party Mac app.
We're starting to dwindle this list down, actually.
We are. So moving on. Actually, before we move on, let's talk about ChatGPT. So I think there is a more full-featured ChatGPT Gemini thing coming. And if you and I were hardcore coders a bit more than we are, actually, maybe we'd have picked Claude Code or one of those things that integrates more closely, directly with the coding experience on your desktop. However, none of that have made our list. So just to talk about ChatGPT for a second, I don't know that it's that much better than just running it in a web browser. You know what I mean?
That's kind of where I've ended up, I'll be honest, in that I do use ChatGPT, but I use it in the web browser. I do have the app on my phone, just more for convenience, but on my Mac, I just don't think I need that app. I just go to a web tab, done.
Yeah, and I'm kind of there with you. And again, it's cross-platform. It's an Electron app that connects directly to the service. So I think we're trying to be fairer to the LLMs, ChatGPT's gone as well.
Wow.
We're whittling it down quickly anyway. So that leaves us with 3. That leaves us with Aerospace, which I bet you haven't even actually heard of.
No, not heard of it. Just opened it now.
So Aerospace is a tiling window manager. It's one of these things that I go on about every so often, where if you open one app, it opens up full screen. If you open the second one, it halves the screen. If you open a third one, it thirds it. You can rearrange them with a couple of keyboard shortcuts, but it takes, in the same way that Word is what you see is all you get, I think these window tiling managers let you remove the chore that some people find out of managing their windows. And for a very productivity-focused person, I think they're very, very important to have. However, on the flip side, most people wouldn't get on very well with this.
No, I think it would be a little bit confusing, especially as you're downloading the source code and building it.
Yeah, it's fine. If you use Homebrew, you can do brew install, and it's relatively simple to install it. It is, however, a first-party Mac app that it requires the Mac to run it on. You're obviously going to get that. It is changing the user interface dramatically to the way that you're used to doing it. However, much as I like this kind of thing, I think it's a little too nerdy for us to consider.
Yeah, I fear you might be right.
We're down to...
Just reading the notes of it as we go.
We're down to 2. The boringNotch, which does exactly what it says in the tin. If you run any modern MacBook, you've become used to the notch, which is the black area that the camera hides in on the bezel. All this does is it turns your notch into something similar to the dynamic island on your phone. So you have a little black widget up the top. You can click on that. It will show you're now playing music. You'll be able to drag files into it and use it as a shelf. It will give you a calendar. It makes not a pointless, but a reserved area on your desktop that bit more useful. And I love it for that. It certainly brings a bit of whimsy and is a Mac-only app in the first instance.
Yeah, I've not used it, but I quite like the idea of it. And it was one after a couple of shows ago is on my list to check out.
Yeah, I think you should. If you run your laptop as a laptop for any sort of period of time, and the little video here shows it quite well, I could do without the music, I got to say, which hopefully you're not guessing. But that's it. You get the same sort of experience that you get with the Dynamic Island, where you've got an interactive widget up the top. And the nice thing I like about it is if you plug your Mac into an external display, it replicates the notch even on that. So if you've got used to having it there, you can have that too. And it's very fast, it's very responsive, and they're continuing to develop it with new plugins. So it's a good Mac app.
Yeah, that's quite cool. I'm amazed Apple haven't done something along these lines.
I just think that's beyond their means to care at the moment. But there you go. So that's the boringNotch, which I think is very much a contender. And then last but not least, Ice. So did you use Bartender, one of those menu bar management apps back in the day?
I actually was just trying Bartender out again very recently because I had too many icons. And I only landed on Bartender because I'd used it before. I was just trying the trial, and then I was just going to have a look around. So I'm interested to see what you're going to tell me about Ice.
So Ice is exactly that. It's an open source version of Bartender. Bartender got a very worrying rep where the developer sold it off to someone else without telling anyone, and everybody was a bit worried that an app you give the amount of screen permissions you do to something like this was actually doing something nefarious with your data. I think they all walked back from it and said, no, it's all above board and fine, but it kind of set the community on edge a little bit for what Bartender was capable of. And by far and away, Bartender is a more capable app. However, for me, Ice is good enough. It does what I want it to do, which is hide the majority of my widgets that are up there because there's too many of them. Even though they're all meant to have moved to Control Center with iOS 26, with macOS 26, nobody's actually done that yet. So again, a nice open source app that solves a problem that modern Mac apps have, which is they pollute your taskbar. I'm a big fan of Ice.
Yeah, okay. I can get behind that.
So I think that leaves us with Ice and the boringNotch.
It does. I've not used either, but I'm interested in both. So I'm happy to be guided by yourself.
I think let's go with Ice as the winner of the year, and let's go with the boringNotch as the runner-up, because it's more of an area of active interest for you, and I think it's a problem most Mac users have.
Yep, no, I'm on board with that. So let's do that.
Good stuff. I'm just writing it into the spreadsheet of doom so we know what's going on. Well done, Ice. Moving on.
What a nice.
And I think an honourable mention to Festivitas, because it is a lovely app, and you should support independent developers.
It's a cool app, and the guy's quite good. He's quite active on Mastodon. It's just been interesting. And bringing Snow to it, and he kept it quiet until he actually launched it. It's quite cool.
Okay. iOS app of the year. So we're starting with ChatGPT again. A little more carefully. We've got ChatGPT, we've got Karakeep, which may just be something that I like, which is a bookmarking app. We've got Protonpass, which I've obviously been experimenting with passwords a little bit this year, and we've got NetNewsWire, and then we've got one I know nothing about called Glass, which I'm sure you're going to tell me about in a minute. So let's start with your choice, Glass. Why have you selected Glass?
So Glass, not linked to Liquid Glass, but is like a photo sharing app. I have mentioned it probably years ago on the show. So sometimes I take a photo, I upload it to my Glass profile, and other people can have a look at it. And you tag it with three categories, like is it black and white, is it a cityscape, is it landscape, portrait, etc. I just think it's a really nice, minimal designed app, but it's really minimal, but in a nicely designed way. Like it's actually very intuitive, and they've really thought about it. They've also moved over to Liquid Glass very early on, and I think Liquid Glass actually works really well with this app because it's a very photo-heavy app. You know, it's very content-orientated. I just think it's a really nice app, and I quite like it because I don't upload a lot of photos, but when I do, it's probably the most social media I ever do. People can follow me or like a photo or, you know, leave a comment kind of thing. And it's just quite a nice place to be because most people on it are quite into photography. I think it costs me about £25 a year. It's, you know, to be a member. I just quite enjoy it. It's a nice place to be.
So it's swanky Instagram.
Yeah, it's slightly more photographic Instagram, I guess, rather than just celebrity Instagram.
Instagram's fairly photographic. I'm hesitant to admit, I'm reluctant to admit that I didn't say last year Callsheet won this category as well, so to get that in there. Okay, so that's Glass. Next up, let's do Protonpass. So Protonpass, for years you and I have recommended 1Password. I think 1Password are becoming a little problematic with their corporate focus and their venture capitalist investors and all the rest of it. And it's just, I don't think it's bad. I think they do a great job. Their security is wonderful. The Mac integration has become questionable recently. So I thought I'd try something else. We use Protonmail for the email service for this podcast. They have a reputation for managing security and privacy above all else, so I thought I'd give their password manager a try, and it's great. It does all the things you'd expect it to do. It's got two-factor authenticator, it manages passkeys, it did a very seamless import from my 1Password Vault to be into Protonpass. So far so good, and it integrates well with iOS as you'd expect it to. So when you get a password request pop up, you click the little padlock button at the bottom, or the key button in the bottom of iOS, and this fills in your passwords, which is exactly what you want a password manager to do. So it's quite a well integrated app.
Yeah, that's cool. I agree with you on 1Password. It's gone very more corporate, I think, than after the home user base that we are.
Yeah, so I think this is a decent, iOS app, and I presume the Android app is just as good. And certainly it works on Linux and Mac and Windows. Not that this is the category, but it's a range of applications that are appropriate to the platform, and the iOS one feels good. Probably our least likely candidate is Karakeep. As we manage the podcast every week, when we see stories, I bung them all into Karakeep, and it means I archive everything as well. So every link we've ever suggested, I have a complete link of them in my Karakeep app. They're not live at that point, but it's searchable. There's a bit of machine intelligence in there that runs on my own server and stuff like that. It just works really, really well. As a means of managing your bookmarks, which is a problem we have. If we want to go back in 3 years' time, now we've been around that long, and find something that we recommended, I can actually go into this and do some fuzzy search to bring out what it was you wanted. So I could probably find Glass if I could be bothered going looking for it. But I did have a quick look and I couldn't find it last time, Chris, so maybe you didn't mention it. So Karakeep, it's just a nice open source, well-maintained app that I run in a server, but the front end for it for iOS is just a really smooth, works really well with iOS app that integrates with shortcuts and lookups and quick bookmarking. It's great.
It does look nice. It looks a nice app.
Yeah, it's well made. You can tell us about ChatGPT for iOS because you said you use it.
I do use it. It's quite a hard app to talk about though, because the app itself, there isn't much. It's kind of like with the Mac app. There's not a lot there, is there? There's a search box, and I just have it on my home screen, just more for convenience, because I want to go, I don't know, I'm going to use an example from the other day. How far back should you stand from a dartboard when you're throwing a dart? Because I've set up a dartboard for my son. I didn't know where to put the tape on the floor. And so I just asked it that. I just think the whole ChatGPT interface is really nice and clean. The website is very good. But on my phone, I feel like I need the app. But I think it's hard to recommend the app as much. I think it's not a very exciting app.
No, it's not, and they're obviously been inspired by Google. Let's face it, that sort of monolithic search prompt is a thing. I can't remember if I've told the story, but I went to a baseball match in America last year, and I watched a man apply for 3 jobs in 2 different languages while sitting with his iPhone, chatting and tapping into the ChatGPT app on his iPhone. And I mean, it was incredible. He didn't read very much of it very carefully, as far as I could see. He just went cut, paste, cut, paste, cut, paste, prompt. So I think the abilities it gives people to do very blancmange sort of entries into things is impressive. I don't think it's a great iOS app particularly. I think it just presents the prompt in a way as you'd expect. It's interesting. I'll hear Mark Orment talk about what great product ChatGPT is. I don't think it sells itself very well. It's just become the default, like in the same way Xerox has. It's very meh. Yeah,
I think the web app's quite good in that it does feel like you're using the website's so good it feels like you're using an app, and that's probably it. I agree with you. I think we strike this one from the list.
Okay. NetNewsWire is just an honourable mention as much as anything else. This is the original newsreader for iOS. Last year, I think we talked about it as well. We talked about our reader one of our categories last year. We've got a penchant for RSS apps, I think it's fair to say, Chris. This is the daddy. It's open source. It's maintained well. I use it every day, I think it's fair to say, and it's just done what I've wanted to do. So I just, as a standard for open source, reliable, well-written iOS apps, I think NetNewsWire is hard to beat.
Yeah, it's fair. I've actually come off using apps for RSS. I actually wrote a website that for my own personal use that sucks a bunch of RSS feeds and just shows them to me how I want them. So I'm probably the worst one to comment on this app now.
Fair enough. You've given up on Reader as well, just out of curiosity?
Reader's gone. I've just used a bit of a web app that I wrote.
Wow. I'm pretty sure that was your iPadOS product of the year last year.
It was. And I stand by it. I really liked it on the iPad. But where I'm using more devices now, I thought, actually, I could do some of this on a website that I look after, and that's what I've done. Okay, what I'm hearing here is that Glass is our winner, because you were super passionate about it and you sold me on it. I think it's a bit... Yep, it's a bit of a niche app, but it's a very niche app. It's like Instagram before Instagram got popular, I guess. There's no filters on it. You are loading up your photo that you've taken. It's not for you to make it look pretty. It's just for you to share your work. And I think that's fine if that's what you're into. So I'm more than happy to say Glass should be our iOS app of the year. I'll take it. Then you should definitely pick the runner-up. I'm struggling slightly. For me, it's really between Protonpass and Karakeep.
Two apps I use. Well, I use NetNewsWire every day as well, but that's more for the honourable mention. I think I'm going to go Karakeep just because it's such an integrated part of my workflow now.
Fair enough. Sounds like a good plan. Let's do that.
There you go. Again, give me 2 seconds while I write them into the spreadsheet, and we'll move on to our next category, which I will admit, this and the next category, we've really struggled to find anything to put in. So our next category is tvOS App of the Year. So starting off, we have Infuse 8.
Last year, Tailscale 1.
Last year, Tailscale 1. Infuse 8, which is a video player. We have the Apple TV app itself, with which you consume Apple content. We have Tailscale again, because this shows the dearth of things that have been produced to run on tvOS, frankly. And last but not least, we have the TV launcher, which I've never heard of. So there are 4 apps. Should we go through them from the top?
Yeah, why not? So Infuse, I've never used this, but I think you have mentioned it on the show.
Yeah, I've definitely mentioned it on the show. So I run a video player app called Jellyfin on a server. I think you do too now, don't you?
Yeah, I have Jellyfin. I do use the Jellyfin app on the TV. It's not fantastic.
It's not fantastic. So there are a couple of alternative clients through which you can access the Jellyfin server. So they have their own one. There's an alternative called SwiftFin, which actually works much better than the official Jellyfin app, and it's written in Swift, so it's nice and responsive and quick and all that, and it's a good app. Honourable mention to that. However, this Firecore app, Infuse 8, which is a paid app, I think it's about 30 quid for a year or something like that, supports many, many more modes. It does very high quality representations. It's got Dolby Atmos. It's got all sorts of things built into it. So if you have media on your server that does that, it works really well, and it integrates really nicely with Jellyfin. So I've just been a bit of a fan of it, really. It's worked well. If you've got any sort of streaming media anywhere in your house on any service, not just Jellyfin, integrates with Jellyfin, Plex. If you've just got a NAS somewhere with a bunch of media on it, you can point at that and it'll sort that out too and give you a nice interface to it. It's a good app.
Yeah, fair enough. It sounds good. You made a good plea for it.
Apple TV, I don't know really how much we need to say about Apple TV, other than they're showing Killers of the Flower Moon there, which is one of the most boring films I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, the Apple TV app, it's got new colours.
It's got some new colours. They've obviously renamed Apple TV Plus to Apple TV. The store's okay in it now. The one thing that puts me off this is the whole library. I own a lot of Apple TV purchase videos, and I still buy them now. But the browsing the library is horrible. They just haven't changed it in all these years, and it frustrates me a little bit. So that's my one negative on it. But the apps on the whole is pretty good. My kids get on really well with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I find its interface slightly baffling into how it's going to present. Where you finished watching one thing, where you're going to start watching another. Is it going to show you an intro? Isn't it going to show you an intro? Is it going to roll you an ad? Isn't it? And it's less problematic than Amazon's player. It does what it says on the tin. It presents at high quality. It's quite quick to start. I quite like the download feature. I've used that from time to time as well. So there's a lot to say about it. I don't think it's changed dramatically over the years, though, and I don't really remember what the tvOS 26 update did for it, other than, well, it wasn't the tvOS 26 update. It just got rebranded.
Yeah, I don't think there was a major update to it. And to be fair to the app, it's kept very current as the updates have come out to iOS.
So that's Apple TV app. We've then got Tailscale, which was our winner last year. There's no reason we can't have it again this year. So if you use Tailscale, it's a means of poking into your home network. So I travel with an Apple TV quite frequently. I can flick it on my Apple TV, and it's as if I'm at home, watching all my media from my Jellyfin server there. Or if I'm abroad, it means I can get iPlayer and all that kind of stuff. So Tailscale's a great app. It remains a great app. I'm not sure I want to put it in the winning position twice. It's a very solid thing that works every single time I need it to.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's look at the next one then.
Go on then. Tell me about TV Launcher.
So TV Launcher, and annoyingly it's showing the iPhone screen here. I don't use it on my iPhone. I use it on my Apple TV. This is one for my partner because she very much wants to see what's on live TV right now. And this is a good app because it just shows you what's on live TV, and you can then jump straight into the app. So this is what's on BBC, and you can use the iPlayer and jump straight to that program on the iPlayer and start watching it. And so it's just a good way of browsing live TV, which, in fairness to Apple, they've done nothing with. They've obviously dealt with streaming apps linking in, but they haven't done with what's on normal TV channel 1, 2, 3, whatever, and how do I get it. This does that. I think it's quite good. They've just released their their 26 version update with glass everywhere, which made it look worse. But the app on the whole is pretty good, and it's not very expensive to buy it, and I would recommend it.
I'm guessing this is a UK developer, is it?
It's definitely for UK TV. I think it's a UK developer, but it's just a really good app. Like I say, you sat in front of the telly, you want to see what's on now. This is how you do it, rather than going in and out of each of the individual apps, which is rubbish.
No, I like it. I think it's a great idea. You've sold me, and I'm going to go and download and try it after we finish recording this podcast. So yeah, that's a good one. So there's our 4. I'm going to discount Tailscale and Apple TV straight away.
Done. So we just got to pick Infuse and TV Launcher. I'll hand over to you to prioritise as I got glass in the last one.
Well, I'm thinking you're going to win with TV Launcher again, frankly, here, Chris. I think it solves a problem that the Apple TV has.
Yeah, and weirdly, I was thinking about, could I write something like this? And then this literally appeared, and I was like, done. Yep. I'll buy that.
Okay, well, there we go. That solves it for us, doesn't it? TV Launcher is our app of the year for the tvOS, and Infuse Media Player is our runner-up.
Yeah, do you know what also sold it to me? I went back and looked at my Apple TV, and I thought, what have I installed this year that's new? And it was only this one app. Like, everything else is pretty much the same as what it's been for the last couple of years.
I think this is a real problem for the platform. I think we talked about this in Apple Vision Pro. I think there's not enough on Apple TV. And let's face it, both of us are subscribers to Apple Arcade. We could be putting all sorts of games and interesting things on there, and we don't.
There's no games on my TV like that.
I mean, now I'm thinking about it, I did install RetroArch on my Apple TV this year, but I didn't go back and play it again. So I can play old Commodore 64 games on there if I want. I just don't.
Yeah, that's the thing. I go there for TV, but even the TV landscape on it's very static.
Next category is going to be a quick one, and we can almost just crown the winner straight away because we have the same problems we did with Apple TV. So iPadOS app of the year. Last year this was Reader, as chosen by you, and now you don't use it anymore. So its longevity has lasted. That's only because you're a developer, though.
It's still a really good app. If you want to read it, I still think it's a really good app.
Yeah, I think it was a good recommendation. And our one and only recommendation this year is iPadOS 26.
Yeah, I haven't really used any new apps this year. I could put forward the Office apps as I always wax lyrical about them, but they've not really changed in a meaningful way. iPadOS 26 is fantastic. It's so good. They fix multitasking. It's really much quicker. You can have more than 4 windows. I just think it's fantastic what they've done with it. And I recommend it wholeheartedly, but there just isn't, in the world I work in, like in a corporate day job and browsing, there's just nothing majorly new that's come out that I've got that's a game changer app. It's just not there. It's quite a mature platform now, but the multitasking, fair play to Apple, they've finally sorted out. It's not perfect, but it is way better than it was.
Yeah, I mean, and that's it. And it's going to win by default because there hasn't been an explosion in super interesting iPadOS apps. I got to say, I think this is a focus on people moving back to computers away from tablets, which you've done yourself this year, actually. The iPad is a good platform. It's not a great platform. I hesitate to call the Mac a great platform while we've got all this nonsense liquid glass running on it either, which I think is a significant problem for Apple. However, the multitasking and management of Windows and iPadOS 26 is something that should always have been there, and I'm glad that they finally have, and they deserve recognition for that. Please switch off the liquid glass, though. It's funny, as I scroll down the web page advertising iOS 26 and I see these transparent icons and things like that, it just looks hideous. They've taken what was a functional, attractive operating system and just made it appalling.
Agreed. There's some clever wizardry there on how it does all its transparent effects. I get it. It's like a research paper, how they've actually made this work. Very clever, I'm sure, but practical day to day, not great.
No, but as a default, iPadOS 26 wins app of the year, operating system of the year? No, something like that. Anyway, there you go. That's it. That was a fairly simple category, wasn't it? Shall we do TV show of the year?
Maybe we have to rename it to iPad Thing of the Year.
Well, maybe we just need to put iPad and TV together because it's going to be a bit of a struggle, isn't it?
Yeah, let's see where we end up next year.
Okay, so do you want to tell us who won TV category of the year last year?
Wait, I know very little about this. I did try to watch it, but last year the winner was Shogun, which I'm sure you campaigned for because I did try and watch it and I didn't get into it, but I know you very much enjoyed it.
I absolutely loved it, and I'm missing not having it this year. It's terrific. So our nominees this year are Severance Season 2, Andor Season 2, Pluribus, which is the new season that's on Apple TV, Knife Edge Chasing Michelin Stars, which I haven't heard of, and I've missed one, and that is Slow Horses Season 5. So do you feel strongly about any of these that you immediately want to get rid of them, or how are you feeling about this category?
I just put Knife Edge in there, not really to say on it because it's not as good as the others, but it was just more also ran. I just really enjoyed it. It was a little bit just about some restaurants around the world when they think the Michelin star people are coming in to review them and rank them and award the run up to that, and some of the craziness that goes on for them to do it. Yeah, you had one kitchen that works in complete silence, and you can hear a pin drop, and you had people striving to do these amazing dishes. I just quite enjoyed it. It's not the best show in the world, but it was just a show I enjoyed and would watch it again if there was another season of it. But it's not a winner.
Yeah, I feel like it's a response to The Bear or something like that.
A little bit, but it's factual. It's a documentary. It's not made up.
Good score though, 100% in Tomato-ometer. Yeah, all right. I'm discounting this one. I think it's a bit niche.
No, it is, but I just thought I'd chuck something in there. Something a bit different.
Right, so the rest of them were a lot more difficult. And how many of them have you actually seen? Severance, Andor, Pluribus, Slow Horses?
I've seen a little bit of Slow Horses, have read the book, and I've seen all of Severance.
Okay.
That's about it. So we're going to be guided by you a little bit here.
Okay, so I'll go through them in order. Severance Season 2 was long awaited and delivered, I think, for me. It was an absolutely tremendous TV show that had an awful lot of things going to it. Amazing camera work, amazing script. The actors were knocking it out of the park every single time they rocked up there, and they just kept it going. And I think for a show, I don't think we had our Things of the Year when Severance originally launched. I managed to convince you to watch it, certainly Season 2, and I think you were quite impressed too, right?
Yeah, look, Severance Season 2, it's the difficult second album. They smashed it. They brought out the second TV show. It carried on where the first left off, and it's fantastic. I would 100% recommend it. It took me too long to get around to watching it, but it's really, really good. So I would 100% recommend it to people, and I would vote for it to be a winner of some shape or form. Okay,
that's strong recommendation. I'll put a similar case for Andor Season 2. It's Jason Bourne Goes to Space is what Andor Season 2 is. And I'm not taking the mick. It's the same creator. It's Tony Gilroy, who wrote Jason Bourne, actually wrote Andor Season 1 and 2. It's Star Wars for grown-ups. It's not for children at all. There's very adult themes in there. It is just an extremely well-written piece of media. And if you enjoyed the I forgot the name of the movie now, Rogue One, Star Wars Rogue One, you'll enjoy this even more because it adds so much context and depth and backstory to the characters. There will only ever be 2 seasons of this. High quality, with extras, without, well, there is CGI, but it's not over-the-top CGI, and there's no space wizards in it either. It's just an extremely intelligent, well-made television show that is probably the best thing Disney's done in years, frankly.
It's quite a compelling case for it. I do need to watch it, don't I?
I think you do. If you like any Star Wars, this isn't your childhood Star Wars. That's for sure. It's a terrific show, and I've been neglectful for the YouTube viewers and flipping between these things. And I think the critics and the audience agree with me on this. 87%, 89%, 97%, 89%. It's just a tremendous TV show. It's very well done, and again, the cast are just smashing it out of the park.
It's an amazing score.
Yeah. Pluribus, which I have waxed lyrical about over the last few weeks, is again divides the critics and the audience, but it's just a beautifully crafted thing as far as I'm concerned. It's Vince Gilligan at his best. He came from the X-Files. He obviously did Breaking Bad. He did Better Call Saul. He started in science fiction with the X-Files, and he's gone back there, and it's almost not a science fiction concept. It's very much a character study. And what does capitalism mean? What does it mean to be an individual? Even if you think you are an individual, how do you survive? What does that actually mean in the context of you can't get through a day without shopping in your supermarket? You can all the steps that bring you there. It's very thought provoking. I'm surprised it's so low with the audience because it's really scoring with me. It's a terrific show.
Can it win if it hasn't finished yet?
Well, it's still a good show, unless they absolutely muck it up on the last episode. It doesn't, there's been lots of things that have been great, and get to the last episode and they're terrible. I think I talked about Down Cemetery Road before.
Yeah, you did, and I think it was terrible from the off. Look, I'm comfortable either way on this one. I haven't seen it. I'm very curious though about this.
Okay, and last but not least, Slow Horses.
The few episodes I've seen of it, fantastic. To me, I love this world that they've created, but I've not seen it all. So I'm over to you now. What do you think?
I think this is better than season 4. Season 4 was good. I thought season 5 was better, which surprised me because all the sort of reviews and things I saw beforehand said it wasn't. My I think everybody knows Slow Horses is excellent. It would be controversial to say that it wasn't. My sad feeling about Slow Horses is it's always the bridesmaid, never the bride. You know, it never wins anything because there's always something else that's bigger that year, be it the bear or be it the studio or whatever it is that sort of it steals its lunch. So I think it's good. I think season 5 was better than 4. It's made all the better by how bad Down Cemetery Road was to me.
Wow, okay, which is shocking, isn't it?
Okay, so I want Slow Horses to win, I think.
Okay.
Are you all right with that? Okay. Well,
I'm comfortable with that. So Severance must be second in my opinion, but you may want to put a case forward for Andor.
I kind of do want to put a case forward for Andor, but I think if season 3 of both of them are dropping tomorrow, I'd really hard to differentiate. If you feel really, really strongly about Severance, let's make Severance runner-up.
I'm not going to die in a ditch for it if you think Andor's worthy, because if they're not doing an Andor season 3, then you will never get to make the case for it again. So Severance could be our runner-up in a couple of years' time.
Oh, that's a really good point, and that's normally what happens to Slow Horses. So you know what? I've changed my mind at the last minute, and Andor season 2 is the runner-up.
Fair enough, done. Happy days.
Yeah, good stuff. And I'm struggling slightly with our... There we go, something like that. And poor Pluribus, but it's going to be back next year, and maybe it'll win next year.
Maybe.
Movie of the year. You talk us through the categories while I fling things up on the screen.
So we've got, last year it was Dune 2, which I'm sure you made a case for because I don't think I've seen it yet. Well, I know I haven't seen it yet. I do own it though from Apple TV Store. But the options we have are, we've got The Running Man that's just come out, followed by Superman. I nearly thought it was The Superman, but it's not. It's just Superman. Then we've got Fantastic Four First Steps. Then we've got the F1 movie, which has just come out on Apple streaming, I believe. Then we've got A Complete Unknown, which is the Bob Dylan biopic. And finally, we've got Downton Abbey, the grand finale.
Oh, Downton Abbey, the grand finale. I could swear that's only just appeared in here.
So the ones I added were the last 2, but I would have easily added the F1 movie in. The first 3 I've not seen.
Right. Okay. So let's go through these. I think. Can I make a case for discounting a couple of them straight away?
Yeah, of course you can.
So I don't think Downton Abbey, the grand finale, belongs to be in here. It's very niche. I guess I was aware of the TV show. I've seen at least one of the films. I'm a bit meh about the whole thing. That might not be fair. I think you'd be better off going and watching some original Jane Austen stuff, frankly, than watching this sort of slightly fictionalized version of what happened at the end. But have you got a case otherwise?
Not overly, but I got to Downton very late. Imagine that. I binged the TV series, watched the films, and then I actually watched this one more or less when it came out. Quite enjoyed it. My mum and dad are off to see it tonight at like a local cinema thing. I just quite enjoyed it. I didn't think the film was as strong as some of the series, so I'm happy to discount. I just put it in there just to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, go and watch Pride and Prejudice, the BBC TV series instead. It's far, 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 far better, I bet. And that might be being unfair. I haven't watched this, but I think I've got a feel for Downton Abbey and what Julian Fellows puts out, and I can't believe this is as good as some of the other things in the list.
I like Downton Abbey and I like Hugh Bonneville. That's probably the draw. I think he's just very well placed in it. You know, he's well cast.
Yep, fair, but it's not making it through.
No,
a complete unknown. This is the Bob Dylan story. I have not seen this.
Oh, I like a bit of Bob Dylan. Always have. I really like this film. I think it was really well done. I thought the performances were good, the direction very good. I just really enjoyed it. I do generally like a biopic, though I'm probably a little biased. Just a very enjoyable couple of hours, and it looks like the crowd is with me because they've given it 95%, which is an amazing score.
Yeah, it's good. It's not so popular with the critics. I mean, do they sing Dylan songs, the actors sing it, or is it dubbed?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Because I think that makes a difference. Like Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash biopic, Joaquin Phoenix and I can't remember who played June Carter Cash,
Reese Witherspoon,
sang themselves, and that brings a certain honesty to it that I quite like. Chalamet is a terrific actor. I mean, he won our pick last year with Dune 2. Again, I think this is good. I'm not going to discount it straight away. It's hard for me to say because I haven't watched it. But I think
it's a good 2 hours of your life. If you want to know a little bit about Bob Dylan, it was interesting.
Yeah, and obviously Bob Dylan picked his name because of Swansea and Dylan Thomas, which is a good link back to here. That makes me think a little more affectionately about the man, but yeah, interesting. Okay, let's not discount it yet then. Chalamet's always worth watching. Who is he acting with in this? Who are the other actors?
I don't know.
Elle Fanning. I like Elle Fanning a lot.
It.
There you go. I like Elle Fanning. She's very, very good as well. So that's a solid cast, I gotta say. Okay, I want
Ed Norton was actually pretty good in it, because obviously he's older now than how you remember Ed Norton of 20 years ago.
Yeah, he's always watchable. Okay, the F1 movie. What's your case for this?
I think you put this in, but I love this film. I think they did a really decent job of interspersing the fictional world with the real life world. And I'd been at a few Grand Prix when they'd filmed it over a couple of years. I thought some of the stories were a little dubious about how they were trying to cheat a little bit to get up. I didn't like that aspect of it. But on the whole, quite enjoyed it as an F1 fan. I've already watched it a couple of times. I would easily get a third viewing in when I get a minute.
Yeah, I mean, it says something that it's been available for a couple of days and I haven't brought myself to watch it yet, despite it being a weekend, and I have every reason I could.
True. It's not for everybody, and like I said, a little bit of the story in my eyes was a bit dubious, but on the whole, as a piece of entertainment, I thoroughly enjoyed it. If you're in that mood for a film where you haven't really got to think, you just got to turn up and watch. I think they did a really good job. Some of the action scenes were fantastic, and like I say, the way they interspersed it in the real world is just mind-blowing to me.
I think it's probably good enough. I mean, it's the same director as Top Gun Maverick, right? So
Correct.
It's probably Top Gun Maverick with cars then.
Yeah, largely, but I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah, okay. And you like F1, which gives it another thing.
Yeah, so I was already 51% towards liking it before it got in the door.
Okay. A couple of superhero movies, Nick. So Fantastic Four: First Steps. This is quite interesting. It's a different aesthetic to the usual Marvel big superhero things, in the sense that it's a tale that's been told before. There's been a couple of Fantastic Four movies over the last sort of 15 years or so. This has an excellent cast of Pedro Pascal and Ebon Moss-Baccarat, I want to say, from The Bear, and I can't remember the actress's name, but she played. She was in The Crown. She played the Queen's sister in The Crown, Vanessa Kirby. They're all excellent. It's quite a well done, ensemble cast. I think the threat is very well done. The CGI is excellent. It tells quite a good story. It's a bit forgettable, a bit fluff. It's interesting that the critics actually rated it as well, and then the audience have obviously gone with it. But just
it's got a great score.
The look of the thing is amazing for a 60s futuristic sort of feel to it, and just as a visual spectacle, I think it's worth watching. It's amazing how good CGI has got to this point, where you absolutely accept most of the things that are going on the screen, and it's a proper old-fashioned, not it's world-ending because they always are, but it's not it's a light enough superhero movie that I think it's fun for all the family. Basically, is where I want to go. You don't feel you need to have seen 50 films to go and sit and watch Fantastic Four at this point, and that's quite nice in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, that is true, because that's put me off a lot of films. So this is one I do want to watch.
And then sticking with superheroes, we have Superman by James Gunn. So this isn't the 1978 Superman we're going to talk about. This is the one that James Gunn released this year. 83% critics, 90% fans. This is just a really good movie. It's a really good movie. It's fun. It's light. David Corenswet, who plays Superman, is fantastic. Nicholas Hoult, who plays Lex Luthor, is, again, I've said knocking it out of the park a few times this time, I'm going to say it again. As a bad guy, he is perfectly cast. There's a really good soundtrack to it. It's fun. There's a couple of sections that are a bit CGI heavy, but you can kind of go with it. I just think it's everything you'd want this kind of thing to be. And it even uses the music from the 1970s Superman movie, which is an absolute win for me, with some of the sort of same font references and things like that. It's a really well done movie. I thoroughly enjoyed Superman. Yeah,
you're making a good case for it. I've watched the 1970s movie a lot. Of my best friend when I was a child, I loved that film. So this is probably a world I want to go revisit. Superman's
it's a great world, and this is particularly well done. I think you'd really enjoy it if you watched it. And last but not least, The Running Man, which I went to see 2 weeks ago, I want to say, in the cinema. Edgar Wright, obviously, a very competent, nuts and bolts action movie with great cinematography. It's not a film of the year. I just wanted to put something in that was fairly recent.
That's fair. I really want to see this because it's Edgar Wright more than anything else. But I think it's going to be a bit like the F1 movie. It will probably. I'm already 51% going to like it. I just want to see it. I'm looking forward to this coming out. So
I think it's really good. It's worth a watch, but it's not a film of the year. Okay, so where does that leave us? I think Downton.
So Running Man's out, Downton's out. So we're down to Superman, Fantastic Four, F1 and A Complete Unknown. I think F1's not.
No, it's not film of the year. It just made a lot of money. I don't think Four Steps is film of the year either, frankly. So this leaves us with Superman and A Complete Unknown.
I think Superman's going to get it, and I think A Complete Unknown will be the runner-up. I think that's probably fair if you're
very fair indeed to me. Go us. That was easier than I thought it was.
That was easy.
Brilliant. Okay.
You should go watch A Complete Unknown though, because I think if you're just a little interested in Bob Dylan, it's worth watching.
I will. I want to watch the Springsteen story as well.
Yes, same. I haven't seen.
Okay,
that
talk us through a brand new category this year: podcast of the year.
We need like a drum beat. Podcast of the year. So the first one we've got is The Rest Is History. It's a new category, isn't it?
Exactly.
So I can't even tell you what won last year. The Rest Is History. This is we're just going to whiz through, aren't we? We've then got Origin Story. We've then got ATP, the Accidental Tech Podcast, long-term favourite of both of us. We've then got Upgrade on Really FM, another tech podcast, which we both like a lot. And then finally, I've added in the Rewatchables, which is a podcast I really like. And I recently added it as Thing of the Week on our show because it's all about movies. And I went back and listened to a boatload of old ones that they had released. I think it's a really good show. I just like listening about movies I love, and they rewatch movies a little bit like I do, far too many times. And you complain at me for not watching new stuff, but I do like rewatching old stuff, and I quite enjoy it. So
yeah, you make a good case for that. I think it's a good subject area. Frankly, we could spin off another podcast about old movies and talk about them for an hour, I think. I'd like to be able to watch movies with as much sort of critical or sensibility as people do, but if it's a movie I love, I just love it. That's kind of the problem.
I think I'm just happy there's other people out there that rewatch movies like I do, because I do rewatch some of my favourites over and over. So that it was just meant that I wasn't the only person that does.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Thing.
Did you mention Upgrade as you were doing that, or did I just not hear it yet?
I did mention Upgrade from Relay FM. So this is a podcast we both listen to. I must confess, more recently I skipped chapters because if it's a topic I've already heard on another podcast, I don't always want to hear it rehashed. But I do think they're a very good show. And I think they're very good at appealing to a broad range of people, whether you're technical or non-technical.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
What do you think?
I think the sort of acid test for me is when I took my daughter to see them live in London last year, which unfortunately you weren't able to come to. And she thought it was terrific. She thought they were very personable. She enjoyed the live thing that they did. And she thought the nerdy podcast I was dragging her to was actually a bit of fun. So that ability to appeal to a diverse audience is obviously something that they've got.
Yeah, and they all seem very genuine.
Unlike Accidental Tech Podcast, which is absolutely knows what it is, which is a very nerdy podcast from Apple guys.
Yeah, 3 Apple guys. It's like the Top Gear lineup of nerds. It's really good. Very technical in places. Also a bit of their home lives creeping in places. It's been going for donkey's years now, but is a listen every week. And this is
I will skip this from time to time. I will listen to Upgrade over ATP. I think ATP has the history. I occasionally struggle with one of the hosts a little bit. He comes over, slightly overprivileged, I think, for what it is, and lacks a little insight
Agreed.
of what it might be out for the rest of the people in the world. Basically, his answer is throw money at everything, and that's not always the most sensitive thing to do.
No, he lives in a different world to the rest of us. Like, his favourite restaurant was going out of business, so he bought it.
No,
Not many people can do that.
Sorry, Marco, we love you, and you're an excellent podcast client, but that's it doesn't always land well. Might just be an American thing.
Agreed.
Next is Origin Story with Ian Dunt and Dorian Linsky. This is a very interesting podcast with a journalist from the Eye and a historian, is what Dorian Linsky is, where they sort of pick apart why we talk, the politics we talk about today, where they originated from, and be that doing an in-depth analysis of Russell Brand, not Russell Grant. He's the astrologer, wasn't he? Don't get those muddled up, as opposed to the initially left-wing but now extremely right-wing comedian / TV personality / slightly horrible person, I think it's probably fair to say, and how that then impacts what we talk about today. The most recent season has been looking at the history of socialism, which became communism, obviously, or sort of taken to its logical taken to a logical extension, becomes communism, but not socialism as it starts off. And they've worked their way through from Marx, through Trotsky, through Stalin, some of the latter people, Chairman Mao Zedong, the Labour Party in the UK, 3 years of that, through Tony Blair to where we are now with Keir Starmer, and now the collapse of the Soviet Union. So they really go all in on a story and pick apart how you get to where you get to. It's very erudite, it's well thought out. Some of their attitudes are a little challenging sometimes. I think the comment I've heard most recently is Ian Dunt's laugh is the thing that pisses people off more than anything. But they're two extremely thoughtful guys, and I went to see this live in London about a month ago at this point, and it's an extremely well-produced podcast that will make you think.
Right, okay. That's good. You made a very good case.
And then last but not least, The Rest is History, where it's literally about history. So they'll take a historical event and they'll pick it apart. And I've recommended it not that long ago, and Apple have selected it as their podcast of the year this year as well. So we don't need to go on that much about it. Goalhanger have become quite good at producing this kind of podcast. Obviously, The Rest is Politics is extremely famous as well. I think they do The Rest is Science now too. It's an extremely well done podcast. If you ever want to get a little more in depth on a lot more in depth in things in history, it's worth listening.
I'm glad I didn't listen to this one when I stayed in Whitechapel last week, because it's the one on the screen for the listeners is Jack the Ripper, Horror in Whitechapel, which, do you know what, I probably would like to know a bit more about that, but yeah, maybe I need to check this one out.
But you would, they'll do things like the Beatles, they'll do Jack the Ripper, they'll do the Nazis, they'll do Elizabeth I. I learned a lot from the Elizabeth I episodes, and I think there were 5 of them. I want to say 4 of them. Mary Queen of Scots. You can go back and you can pick things. I think we talked about Nelson when I recommended it before. So it's a terrific podcast. If you're going anywhere on a train for a couple of hours, it'll get you through.
How do we whittle this down? Because we're going long.
Yeah. I think let's discount The Rest is History because it's already won all of the things. I think we can discount ATP because it's become problematic. I think Upgrade is a better podcast if you're just trying to get the news and you have listened to lots of tech podcasts, so that's fine. So for me, it's between Upgrade, Rewatchables, and Origin Story.
I don't think I could give Rewatchables the winner because I don't think this year's been strong. I think their back catalogue's been strong. So I could get behind Origin and Upgrade Story. You can pick which way around you like to do them.
Right. Origin Story is the winner. Upgrade is the runner-up.
Done.
Done and done. Tell us about games and what won last year.
Game of the year. Winner was Balatro, which I'm guessing you picked because I still haven't played it. And this year we've got the nominees are Battlefield 6. You do need to pick 1905 as your date of birth or something like that, and you'll be allowed in. So Battlefield 6, one that you have put forward. Then we've got Mario Kart, which I think we both put in there. Mario Kart World, this is launch title for the Switch 2. Then I've put in Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is Super Mario Odyssey with Donkey Kong, basically. That's really good. Then we've got Civ 7, which I've added in because it feels like it should be in there as a nominee. And I also added in Commando's Origins as a potential.
Eclectic mix. Right, okay. I think Battlefield 6, massive first-person shooter game, Mario Kart World racing game, Donkey Kong Bonanza, adventure 'em up, find all of the things kind of game. I don't know how better to describe it.
Collect all of the coins kind of game.
Yeah. Civilization, world-spanning strategy game, which had a difficult launch, and Commando's Origins, more of the same if you like your stealthy, shooty, sneak up and kill people.
Like top-down stealthy shooty game.
Yeah, okay. So do any of these do we immediately discount? I mean, I'm looking at Civilization because it had such a troubled launch that I think I'd struggle to recommend that to anybody.
I think we do discount it because neither of us have overly gone back to it.
Yep. I would also discount Donkey Kong Bonanza because I really didn't like it. The more I played it, the less I liked it.
Oh.
Sorry. Shocking.
That was me sighing. I quite enjoyed it. It was very Super Mario-esque, Odyssey-esque, but happy to discount.
Okay, I'm sorry to be controversial. Mario Kart World, I love to bits. However, it's just another Mario Kart game.
Yeah, it's back to my thoughts of this being a very iterative year. I think Mario Kart World's cool. I enjoyed playing it with my kids, but it's just not been overly sticky. Like, kids, should we play Mario Kart World? And it's been like, maybe. Not let's go.
So this leaves us with the two fighty, killy, shooty games, which is Battlefield 6 and Commando's Origins. So I am happy if you really want to make a strong case for Commando's Origins winning. I haven't played it. I did play the demo, so I know what it is.
You did not enjoy the demo, though, did you?
I did not enjoy it. It's not my kind of game at all, but I see for what it is. It's a well-made, playable, fun game. And for me, Battlefield 6 is back to where the Battlefield series should be. It's creating spectacle. I've thoroughly enjoyed playing it. It's replaced Call of Duty. I've uninstalled Call of Duty on my PlayStation as a consequence. That's a big deal for me. It's a lot of fun, even though I'm an old man and I die an awful lot. But yeah, you make a case. What do you fancy?
I think both of them are very similar in many ways because they're modern games that have got a history steeped many, many years ago, and it feels like both of them are trying to get back to some of that history of many years ago. I'm comfortable either way on this. I think Commandos is very good. It's like I say, linked back to where it's come from. It knows its roots and it's done a good job of modernising its roots. I think weirdly they've also made it work on a PlayStation and on a keyboard and mouse device, so that's quite a skill. But equally, I think Battlefield, from what you've told me, is very good as well. So comfortable either way.
Let's give Commandos Origins the win, and let's make Battlefield 6 the runner-up.
Whoop, whoop.
So it's all going your way, this one, Chris.
That one did. Yeah, okay, I'll take it.
There we go. Biggest screw-up. Last year we had CrowdStrike, and I don't think we could argue that CrowdStrike was absolutely the biggest screw-up.
Yeah, it was impressive, wasn't it? Blue screens in Times Square, so very impressive. So this year we've got the iPhone Pocket, which I did put in Apple's product of the year, but largely just to be a bit tongue-in-cheek. Then we have got the M5 Apple Vision Pro, which is the same as the last one, really, and they've addressed pretty much nothing that was anybody cared about. Then we've got Liquid Glass, which obviously is the update to Apple's OS. And then we've got US Hegseth Signal adding a journalist. I don't know what this is. Oh, this is where the Trump
Secretary of Defense
added in a journalist into like a WhatsApp group by mistake.
Yeah, I mean, there's no denying that was a major screw-up, that he actually put American lives at risk by putting it, adding a journalist to a chat with us. So I think it's a bit outside of our normal thing, but what a stupid thing to do.
Yeah, agreed. That is, I don't know how much we want to argue this. I think the iPhone Pocket is just dumb, but not the biggest screw-up of the year. It's a very minor bit of hardware that you can buy. The Vision Pro is idiotic as well, because you just chucked a new chip in and didn't address any of the major issues other than making the headband better. You didn't make it cheaper, which is the main problem, I think, if you want to actually get people to adopt it or get developers building on it. You didn't do any of that. You just carried on it and ignored the world. I think Liquid Glass... I like some of Liquid Glass in some apps. In some apps, like the Glass app I showed you, it actually works quite well in there. But in many other apps and in the whole of the Mac, it just doesn't work and it's stupid. And Apple blatantly ignored it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Pocket is just a dumb thing that, whatever, it's fashion. Liquid Glass, I genuinely don't like. Hegseth, we're a tech podcast. It's worth highlighting because it's a stupid thing to do.
That was stupid.
It was extremely stupid. But for me, and the Vision Pro is as stupid as it's always been. So Liquid Glass gets it for me.
Yeah, agreed. I can get behind that. I think they had the right idea, but the poor implementation.
So what's a runner-up? Vision Pro.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Again, while I write that in, do you want to announce the next category? Which we're coming at the end, folks.
We are coming to the end. Next category is most absent, and we've got two runner-ups here. We've got two nominees. I get my words right. We've got the Trump phone, and we've got the Mac Pro. Obviously, the Mac Pro is still for sale, but it's still for sale with the M2 chip in it, which came out about 3 years ago. So there are our two things, and it looks like the Mac Pro isn't going to get anything, even though there has been speculation for a long time about it getting an M4 and M5, but it feels like it is dead, Dave.
Yeah, I agree. And it's more about the M4 5 Ultra chips, really, as much as anything else, because we don't really have them. You know what I mean? That they seem to be skipping chip generations with their absolute hottest chips. You don't even get the most up-to-date ones in the Mac Studio year on year. So the Mac Pro is an illustrative example of that. They spent a lot of money designing the box, and then they put something very average inside of it that was basically a Mac Studio that you could add maybe audio cards to. Who knows what cards you could add to it. There's no denying that the Mac Pro is going to die, so it's not surprising it's absent. So I think that's our runner-up, and which only leaves us with the Trump phone, really.
Which was quite a bit of hoo-ha about and some bad photoshops. So it's not a shock, but I'm happy to make this the winner. It looked awful. We didn't think it was coming, and it hasn't come.
I don't understand this Trump website, frankly. Obviously, there's a Trump mobile MVNO, and you can put iPhones or Samsungs on it, but what you really want is the Make America Great Again Trump phone.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. And then you can buy some renewed old phones. It's very strange.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as strong a category as we had last year, I got to say. I think, the Apple Vision Pro was a far away winner. They've got away with it this year by putting an M5 in it, but it's still a rubbish product.
By phoning it in.
And that's it. And then we've got our honourable mentions this year. So do you want to tell us what we've got?
So at the last minute, I just put a couple of honourable mentions in, which might make us think about having slightly different categories next year. So first honourable mention was just the Switch 2. It's a nice product. It's fast. It's not that much difference than the Switch 1, though, sadly. Then I popped in Ubiquity because one of us just upgraded all their network because the other one pressured him into doing it. And I think it is great kit, but I think it's worth mentioning. It's really good kit for techies and just people that want good networking equipment. I think it's well done.
Yeah, and then last but not least, Framework get a mention as well, because I think they uphold a principle that we'd like to see in our tech as much as anything else. The fact that it should be repairable. We have spent lots of money on it. If we want to upgrade it, it should be up to us. Make it easy for us. They're up to 4 products now. They have a 12-inch, a 13-inch, a 16-inch laptop, and now they have a desktop as well. So a company with humble beginnings with just that one 13-inch laptop, which you can still upgrade to the latest thing to this day. So they're really walking the walk that they said they were going to do. Are really on it, and I think it's laudable. I bought a Framework laptop this year. We both bought Switches this year. We both bought Ubiquity stuff this year. So I think this is, they're strong categories, all three, for something we should maybe be thinking a little beyond our Apple world for the future.
Yeah, I agree. I added Framework in on your behalf because I thought it sounds good. You convinced me that it's something I would consider. My eldest son, I think if he was going to be getting a laptop, this would be perfect for him because he loves upgrading and changing things. So this would be bang on for him. When he gets to that point where he needs a laptop, I would 100% recommend him something like this.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So we haven't done this before, Chris. So what's your overall thing this year that you're happiest with?
That's a very good question. I think probably more recently, I'm going to say my MacBook Air because I've used it a lot. I've changed jobs. I use it all day for work, and I've been driving a couple of screens with it. I've been coding on it. I've been doing emails on it, obviously, in presentations. I've been on the train. If it had cellular, it'd be a nearly perfect device.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. I'm going to go with my Framework laptop. I've taken it away with me. I've done business on it. I've done Teams and Zoom calls on it. It runs Linux. It's been the thing I've come back to time and time again. The battery's garbage, but I can deal with that. I can plug it in. It just works. It runs Fedora Linux. I've been very happy with the thing. And if at some point in the future they do get a slightly bigger battery or Linux optimizes its battery, it will be the perfect laptop that you can work around the rough edges of Linux and have a thing where everything on it is truly yours, and that's quite a novel experience.
I won't even mention my MacBook Air battery because it's absolutely insane. I don't know what they've done, but it's absolutely crazy town.
Yeah, I have an M3 MacBook Pro as well, so I know how good Apple laptop batteries are, and I have occasionally taken that instead when I've absolutely needed the battery over everything else. But it's nice to push the envelope on what's possible with your computing devices, and I think that's good for both of us there.
No, agreed. If I wasn't in the Mac world, I would be getting a Framework laptop, I think.
So there we go. We have your winners. We'll put them in the show notes, obviously, so you'll be able to see all the links and things like that. And I think we can call that a show, Chris.
I think so. So happy Christmas all. And we will do this again next year, hopefully. If you want to get in contact with us, Rod is at g5maniac at mastodon.scot. He's also on Blue Sky where he's at g5maniac.bsky.social. I'm on Mastodon where I'm at _CJP at mastodon.social. Watch on YouTube by going to our website, clicking on the link, or you drop us an email at wakefromsleep@protonmail.com.
Talk to you next week, Chris.
Cheers, Rod.